Lights on.
Lights, camera, action. History is in the making. Welcome to the very first inaugural Trail Camera Adventures podcast. I'm John.
I'm Sean.
This is Sean, and in the background you're going to hear some whining. That's Calamity Jane, and that's Elton John, the Bloodhounds, which we're going to bring out a little bit later. But they just ate, so they're gonna need to stay there for a while. We are so excited to get to this point. It's been quite a few weeks of putting together a studio and getting this together, and it's been quite a little bit of time now on the channel. It started
4 years.
4 years ago. It's actually been 4 years, and that's gone pretty fast. That's the YouTube channel. You can find us at Trail Camera Adventures Mount St. Helens on YouTube, and it is a pretty good sized trail camera channel now. I started it just as sort of a legacy for video and wildlife for my kids, my grandson, and because our lives are so busy today, we don't have time to go out and see wildlife. And so many people, they want to live vicariously, kind of, going out in the woods and see the stuff, but they're not expected to go out every single weekend. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing that to you. You know what? I think we're going to have to let her out a little bit.
Yeah,
earlier.
it's fine then.
We'll let her out. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now's a good time to introduce you to Calamity Jane. You're going to see her on lots and lots of these videos. Okay.
Here we
You want to
go.
go over and say hi?
Oh, she is. And here she comes. I expected this. Hi, Calamity.
Oh my gosh. Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right, here you go. So, Calamity is our 5th bloodhound. I've been trail camming for close to 20 years, and it started off. Whoa! Settle down, girl. Settle down. Ugh. I've been trail camming with the dogs on Mount St. Helens for close to 20 years, and it started off with Bucky the Labrador, and now it's my bloodhounds. And anyway, she goes with us nearly all the time. When you start watching the channel, if you haven't already, you'll see Apollo.
Yep.
Apollo is the white Labrador. You'll also see from time to time Elton, who is the big male. Here's Elton over here. We're gonna let him stay in there for just a little bit. So anyway, on this inaugural podcast, I wanted to start off with some history and some analytics and thank everybody that's gotten us here so far. There are actually over 5,000 videos on the YouTube channel. Over 400 of them are long content, and the rest are lots and lots of shorts. Probably 99% of those are wildlife and adventure stuff. Our analytics for the channel are amazing. Almost 6,000 subscribers now.
Yeah, I was noticing that the last time I was on the channel and looked.
That's just amazing. It didn't take us that long to get monetized and going. You had to have 1,000, and we did that, and then you had to have so many hours viewed, and that took about a year to get that.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Then we got going, and now it's absolutely incredible. Any given day, day in, day out, there's 3,000 to 15,000 people that are watching our wildlife videos around the world. Isn't that mind-boggling?
It's a lot of people.
It really is. So as we're coming up on a 3 million view anniversary. We're coming up on 6,000 subscribers, and it just couldn't be going, I don't think, any better at this point.
Not at this point. I mean, not for how we started out and what we started out with, and
it was really just for fun.
Yeah, I mean it
still is just for fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for that commission check, but
yeah, me too.
I don't feel bad.
So here we go. Today, it being the inaugural event, we're going to celebrate. And I was asking Sean if he had ever opened up a bottle of champagne, and he said he hadn't, and I hadn't either. So I'm going to hand it to you, and you're going to try to open it up because this is a major deal. We're going to celebrate with a little champagne, and then we're going to talk about trail cameras. There she goes again with that tail. Okay. Okay. I'm going to set up a different angle. Maybe she won't knock it over.
We'll try.
Oh, maybe not. She did it again. Okay. So I'm going to put pillows on this. I think that'll help. You got it?
Yeah, well.
Hand me over the little scraps so the dogs can end up with them.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
It is champagne, right?
It's what it says.
Okay, all right. What kind is it?
Gansey.
It's fancy?
No, it's Gansey.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. I might get in trouble later and find out I opened up a really expensive bottle of champagne, but I don't know why we would have an expensive bottle of champagne hanging around. Okay, so here's to the first podcast. Get that off, and then you gotta squeak it. Okay.
Okay, and then.
We got the pop and everything.
I don't know if this is how you do it or not.
I think you. Oh, it looks perfect. It looks perfect.
Right.
Look at that.
I really hope this wasn't best expensive champagne. Probably
Cheers! Congratulations.
Cheers. Yeah, thanks, John.
It's been an awesome ride so far.
Interesting.
You know what? I'm not a wine or champagne drinker, but that's not bad.
No, it's not. It's
that's pretty nice.
That might have been expensive. I don't know.
Either that or it's like Boone's Farm, the really cheap stuff.
Yeah, I think the cheap one's called Champion or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this is pretty good. I'm going to be able to finish this with you, I think. So.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Here you go. Let's keep us going.
No, I can't do that.
No, okay. So, like I mentioned, analytically, a typically day we'll get between 3,000 and 15,000 views on the channel. And almost all of that, oh, I'm glad you grabbed that. Almost all that is wildlife. There's only a few little family things on there. And the channel is all about adventure. So we've got close to 75 cameras.
Yeah.
Maybe more, but it's hard to really tell because that's a lot.
And we cycle them in and out. Some are dead, some are disappear, some we forget to put on Onyx.
I know.
Find them a year later.
I know. They're all over the place. And so you want to tell them a little bit about how we retrieve them? It's impossible to do all 75 at once, obviously.
Yeah. Basically, we do them in areas, sets, or blocks. We'll set them in multiple areas, and then what we'll do is we'll decide which block we want to pull from by the date we set them. So we try and let them sit for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Some of the areas they sit longer.
Calamity, come here.
Some they don't sit as long.
So the name of the channel is Trail Camera Adventures Mount St. Helens. We are on the southeast side, really close to where my cabin is.
Yeah.
Northwoods cabin area, past the Cougar area. That's the general area. And
Yeah.
you talk about how many cameras we got out there.
Any one spot, I would say anywhere from 8 to 12, and then all total around there, I'd probably 70, 75.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're all not in one area. They're in different areas, and we run them like, if you could imagine, trap lines. They're all not one great big line. They're all in certain areas. So we may decide on one morning, since there's really heavy snow load, that we're just going to go to the lower levels and get these 6. And then if they're not too far from the road, we'll still have enough energy to go to another area and maybe get these 4. And then there's certain spots that are around, like one in particular that's around the spring.
Oh yeah.
That spring, and you can't have enough cameras around a water source like that. All the different angles, and it's just amazing how some of them animals can get in there, like the predators, like the slinky bobcats and the cougars, and 2 or 3 cameras don't trigger. It's only captured on one. Why and how that happens, it's hard to know, but it does happen. So that's how we're set up. We try to take the easiest routes in, but it's not always that easy, is it?
Yeah, no. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Alrighty. What's your favorite thing about trail camming almost every week? We don't get out there every week, but we try to.
Working with the dogs.
That's right.
Yeah, whether it's yours or mine or all of them, one of them. Yeah, we've had all 3. We've had the 2. We've had 1. We've gone out with just yours. We've gone out with just mine. We've gone out with all 3 of them. But with Apollo, I use trail camming because he's also an upland dog, and we've sent him out to find cameras, and he's flushed birds, and we've sent him out to find cameras, and yes.
It's dog work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all dog work.
It's really enjoyable.
Twice he's done that.
Yeah.
Once we were actually actively hunting.
Yeah.
He flushed them. Unfortunately, they flew in between us, killed each other.
Birds, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been the end of us if either one of us would have taken a shot. But it's.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't. I snapshotted them. I mean, at that point, I'm not that good, and I don't think the best shot in the world could have hit them. But I was gonna try.
There's something about. Now, my hounds are always on leashes. They're always on leads because they are scent driven.
Oh, God.
I mean, really driven. And they can be so focused, they'll just keep going and keep going. Recall is a challenging thing with the Bloodhound. It's not with like Labradors, a well-trained Labrador. So we can have his dogs off lead, but you'll see my Bloodhounds, they will never, ever be off lead. That's
If you took these off lead, John, we'd be looking for them up in Canada.
That would be challenging, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Apollo started his canine career, if you want to say that, in search and rescue training, which I had professional training done, and then COVID hit, and we reverted to upland. just because the dynamics of search and rescue changed. So I switched him from November, December, that we're not going to get back up in there until August.
Well, that's a good point. They're behind locked gates, and we don't have a permit during certain times of the year, and we just leave them up there and wait till the permit time.
There's no way we'd walk in and get them.
Yeah, and the snow. We haven't had snow this year as much, but we still can't get up there.
Well, no, I mean, it would take us 3 days to hike back there. I mean, it'd be an overnight adventure.
And that's kind of the fun and beauty of trail cameras, is because every time you go, it's like Christmas. You don't know. You hope you set it up right, and you just don't know what's going to be on there. And the fact that you can look up, if you set it right, the timestamp and the date of when it happened, it's really very, very interesting.
Yeah, we've set some in areas that we didn't think we would get nothing, and we wound up just getting great footage. And then we've set some up in other areas that we thought were going to be great, and they turned out to be a bust.
Yeah, you just don't know. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, I get asked this quite a bit, is how do you know? Okay, sit down, sweetheart. How do you know where to put them? Well, and the obvious thing that you're getting beat up there. She is going to settle down here in a second.
She ain't bad.
The obvious thing is animal trails. But where on animal trails, and which trails, and we have quite a few videos that you can look at that talk specifically about that. If we're looking for predators, we don't necessarily put them on the major ungulate, which is a fancy word for the deer and elk trails. We kind of put them off to the side, because that's the way the predators hunt. The cougars, the bobcats, the bears, they will, in certain areas, go on the well-maintained elk and deer trails, but they're almost better off, because that's how they eating deer, for example, to be off at the side, and opportunistic predation. And so with the bloodhounds in particular, Sean and I can be walking along a trail, and all of a sudden, a main trail, all of a sudden one of the hounds will head bop to one side or the other. And you'll notice a smaller trail that you would have never looked at. You would have never noticed if the dogs hadn't pointed it out. Apollo does the same thing. It doesn't have to be a bloodhound.
Yeah, you know? and we have set them where the dogs have reacted. We utilize the dogs almost as much as we do OnX GPS and just any other tool we have with us, from everything from prevention to detection.
Speaking of detection, I got a feeling I know how you're going to answer this. Do you have any favorite or absolutely memorable days that we went trail camming?
I have one. It was I had Wyatt and Apollo. It was after January. We were on foot up on Eagle Cliff, and the dogs just were on one more particular than usual, and even Wyatt wouldn't listen to John, which is highly unusual. Dogs just kept going and going and going and going and going, and
they were howling, they were barking,
howling, barking, just
probably the loudest we've ever been on the mountain.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
and for both of them at the same time was odd. Usually it was one or the other. And so I look up to my left and I saw a cougar. It was above us on a berm about 25 feet or so. It wasn't far away. And that's what they were going after. And John was yelling at me to try and quiet the dogs down. They were tied to a tree. I had my gun out, and I told John that we had a cat, and John thought it was a bobcat, so he took his phone out. I was like, "No, we got a cougar, man." So we were able to. Obviously, it took off. Luckily, we didn't have to. No further action was needed. But
that was pretty exciting. That cougar was easily in leaping distance.
For
you and the dogs, easily, just right there on top.
Oh, he could have been on us in nothing. I don't know if I'd had time to get a shot off as close as he was. I would have tried. But later on, while we were there, he took off. When John showed up, I figured that was more of a fight than he wanted. And later on, we found him, because I carry a Leopold HD thermal monocular. I use it for search and rescue and trail camming. We were able to pinpoint the cougar. It was treed.
It wasn't very far away. It just slunk off when we saw it, and we were looking at it. It just slunk off, and there was no reason to shoot it at that point.
No, it wasn't.
We're not gonna. It wasn't attacking, but it was definitely checking us out, which makes you wonder how many times are those slinky guys sizing us up.
Probably a couple at least, because we've had the dogs just go bonkers for no apparent rhyme or reason, and we didn't see anything, but hard to say.
So I pulled cards at the end of that trip, and there's a long content video about it that you should look up and watch. It's really very good. And there were 2 huge Toms. Tom is the name for a male cougar on there, so it could have been either one of those that were checking us out.
Yeah, because it was pretty good size. I know that because I saw the left shoulder and head from where I was, and I didn't want to take my eyes off it to get a better vantage point. I just figured I'd stay right where I was.
Both of those cougars were 150, 175 pounds. They were as big as they get.
Yeah. We pulled the card when you pulled the cards, and we were looking at the photos and the videos you got. It was just I upgraded. we do carry protection, and it's for reasons like that. It really is. Those cats are serious predators. That's why I thought bigger was better.
It's nice to have the dogs.
I mean, and we utilize the dogs. I mean, for everything from finding game trails to locating game hot spots, which I'd say 70% of the time it pays off. And we use Apollo to find them.
Apollo does a great job on that.
Yeah, I mean, Onyx works great if you have cell service. If you don't have cell service, it can be a little glitchy at best. And while you were laid up with your hip surgery, a lot of those I didn't set.
Right.
So
you have no idea.
I have no idea where they're at. Onyx is, it gets you close-ish sometimes. So I'd send in Apollo to find them, and that saved us probably an hour.
He's really good at it.
He is really good.
He gets it. So the other thing that happens is after 3 or 4 or 6 months, ferns sometimes grow up and go in front of it. Ferns sometimes grow down on stumps and stuff. So we have to be very cognizant of where we're setting up a camera, depending on the new growth that's coming in from all angles.
Yeah.
I've definitely had ferns on the top come down and completely cover up the camera, and all you can see sometimes are the little feet and the little hoofs go by. It's like, oh no, can't do that again. So anyway, you need to settle down. Some of this is going to be entertaining, but other parts are going to be too much. Sit down. Calamity, sit down. Go lay down.
So when we're working the dogs, like John said, Apollo's an off-lead dog for the most part, unless there's road hazards or, we've gone up there, and if we're around the river, water hazards, especially if it's running high and fast, because he'll get in it. But aside from his canine search and rescue training, once COVID hit and the dynamics of search and rescue had changed, I converted him into an upland hunting dog, which has been beneficial for both me and him, especially in the environment that we're doing now. And he's a lot busier.
Definitely busier. The thing that I like about trail camming is the adventure and the grounding of it. I mean, it just, when we get out there, even if it's a quick trip, like a couple weeks ago, all we did was set 3 of them down by the creek, and we were back in an hour. It felt so good for the rest of the week to know we got out there and
we
did
accomplished something.
I know. It just feels so good. So that's probably the best thing, being out there with nature and the dogs.
Yeah. And I mean, we try and utilize as much of the time up there as we can, to where we're not just running in there strapping or screwing down some trail cameras and then bouncing out. I mean, we try and you do a really good job of narrating.
We're getting better and better at that, narrating on what we're doing and how we're doing it. So,
and the why.
Yeah, if you're a regular viewer, you're going to see why we're putting this particular trail camera in this pinch point, for example, or by the water, which water seems to be pretty obvious for a lot of people. But and what kind of predators or deer or elk we're trying to get, and it all makes sense after a while. And it's especially easy if you just keep going. You just get better and better and better at it. And the other thing is more trail cameras.
Yeah.
The more you got out there, the better your chances.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she is just not going to let you go.
Oh, that's all right.
Well, this is an exciting day because it is our first podcast. We've got I have a whole bunch of very interesting people, trail camera, hunting, nature related, lined up for the Trail Camera Adventures podcast. I've got one in particular that it's just going to blow your mind because he's so knowledgeable about the internal workings of how these cameras work. We're going to dive really deep into that, and I think that's going to be fascinating for you. I think most people just want to see how we're doing it and why we're doing it, and there's quite a few people out there that want to know where we're doing it, because some of these animals are fantastic, and if you can figure it out, good for you.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because everybody's like, well, you got an unfair advantage. You got an unfair advantage. You guys set the trail cams. You know where to go hunting. Me and him went elk hunting.
Not really.
Me and him went elk hunting, and guess what? Nothing. We didn't even see one. We didn't even.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a big misnomer to that. It just because you have things on video doesn't mean you're going to go out there hunting and you're going to find them. And it just doesn't work that way.
No.
But that's okay. I don't think we're gonna change anybody's mind here. It's just you're gonna have to take our word for it.
But I've had people comment,
Oh,
you got an unfair advantage. Dude, we went up there and we didn't even see nothing.
Well, thanks again for joining us for the podcast. Go on YouTube, Trail Camera Adventures, Mount St. Helens. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Love to see the comments. We respond to all of them, unless it's really ridiculous, and then it goes bye-bye. But we respond to all of them. Really appreciate that. Met a lot of neat people that way. So thank you very much for your support.
Yep. See you on the next one.